Alright, this is the SU-76 from UM models. And now, full transparency. I lost all the footage from the build.
Holy!
It sucks, I know. So we're jumping straight into paintwork. While I am laying down the base for BO green for SAM, let me walk you through the few changes I made. Most of the kit is stock, straight from the box. But I did tweak a few things. I swapped some photo-etched parts for custom ones made from thin plastic. Easier to shape and they look better to me. I also added two locks to the left side of the vehicle. And in some places I added a few mounting brackets. One big change. I replaced the gun muzzle entirely. The one in the kit was just a chunky molded blob, completely unusable. Drilling into it would have taken ages. So I made a new one in Blender and 3D printed it. Cleaner, faster, sharper, and look better. Just above the locks, I attached two German-style jerrycans. I figured the crew probably grabbed them off a capture vehicle and reused them. It's a nice little story detail. After the base coat dried, I used varnish. And after that I mixed it for BO with a bit of yellow to simulate some fading. Then, to get a chipped and worn look, I mixed the green with a darker tone and a drop of retarder. That let me apply it slowly with a sponge, building up that distressed effect. Honestly, you are probably seen the sponge technique 100 times, nothing special there, but the results speak for themselves. Some area look cheap, others sun-bleached. It's starting to come to life, though we are far from done. Now here is a neat trick. Since I clear coated the base layer, I could gently remove parts of the top layer with a brush and warm water. It's a cool way to fake warm paint without getting too aggressive. And now it's time for winter camo. But not your clean factory standard version. This time I wanted something rough, field applied. Imagine 10 crews in the middle of winter slapping on whatever wet paint they could find. No any factory tools, no rules, just fast, messy strokes. That's the vibe. To start I used Polyechos Dectan as a faded white base. Then I planned to add ICM white on top. I layered it with washed and random strokes to keep it chaotic. I actually enjoyed this process. It's messy in a fun way, and from what I've seen in old photos, this was totally legit on both Soviet and German vehicles. On the right side of the hull I went a bit bolder. I copied a dotted camo pattern I found in a historical photo. It looked weird and unique, and that's exactly why I love it. Same pattern I added to the running gear. I wish I could show you the original image, but I found it on Pinterest and, well, good luck tracing any source there. After the base layer had fully dried, it was time to apply the SAM white I mentioned earlier. I usually apply this using the tipping method. Why? Because when I thin it down properly, ICM's white gives a beautiful effect when layered over Dectan. It creates a really convincing hand-painted camo look, just like what tank crews would be done in the field. No need to explain too much here, just watch the process. Pay attention to how the paint behaves, how it flows, how it sits over the previous layers. It's messy, unpredictable, and that's exactly what makes it feel authentic. Next up, washes. I used one take brown oil paint. It just works better with green and white than black oils, which I find a bit harsh on acrylics. Could just be my paint brands, who knows. After the wash dried, I carefully wiped away the excess with a cotton swab and a soft brush. It's a slow process, but worth it. One wrong move and you are redoing hours of work. Then I used white oil paint to add chalky, smudged effect in spots. Back in the day, tankers often used lime or chalk to whitewash their vehicle. Paint wasn't always available. It wasn't very durable, but it got the job done, so I tried to replicate this effect. Then I tackled the lock. My method here is pretty simple. I used chocolate brown for the base, and then dry brushed some tan earth to highlight the wood grain. The ropes got a similar treatment, and I followed the same technique I used in my How to Paint Logs video. Still love that method. One rope is missing on purpose. On the diorama, I want to show soldier putting the log of the tank to use as a makeshift bridge. There will be another model involved in that thing, but you'll see that in the next video. Back to the vehicle, I painted the tow cable. I stuck with the kit parts, even though, yeah, it's not great. A 3D printed variant or a piece of wire would look better, but I wanted to see if I could make it work. And I couldn't. Oh, well, we have what we have. Same paint I use for exhaust pipes. Normally I'd go quick, dark rust, dry brush, done. But I wanted to try something more layered. I used white oil with a tapping method to simulate flaking paint. Then added a burnt umber wash for depth. It took a lot more time than usual. The result nice, but I'm not sure it's worth all the extra effort for every build. I'll probably mix and match going forward. After that, I touched up the lock again. The wash had dulled it a bit, so I added another pass of light tones to bring the contrast back. After that, I painted the rubber parts on the gear wheels. And yeah, plastic tracks still hate me, I keep messing them up. I'll hide the flaws with snow later. That's my plan and I'm sticking to it. Off camera, I repainted the tank number by hand. It's something I've seen on real wartime photos, so I wanted to include that human touch. Next, I figured it was time to paint the jerry cans. For contrast, I thought one of them should be red. It just felt right. A pop of color to break up all the greens and whites. So I grabbed Vallejo Shadow Flash and used it as the base color. After it dried, I lightened the color a bit and started adding some wear and tear. Chip and scratch just enough to make it look used, not overdone. And that's it, that jerrycan was done. As for the second one, I kept it simple. Just a plain, flat green-grey tone. No drama, no distressing, just a background piece to let the red one pop. Then I tested some dirt effect using Vallejo Gravel and Sand Fixer real soil and pigment. The result? Pretty subtle, but unfortunately this model doesn't have a ton of exposed surface to show off dirt. So it's there, but only if you look closely. And now we move on to the last major step – snow. I used coarse white texture paste. It's thick, realistic and holds up better than baking soda in my experience. I applied it to areas where snow would naturally build up – flat spots, edges, corners. I based the placement on actual photo. I wanted it to feel grounded, not random. And yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out. Every next enhancement will be done on diorama. If we talk about interior, I didn't bother showing the interior paints. It's just base color and a quick wash. Most of it will be covered by crew figures anyway. As for the snow, I like the result, but I'll fine-tune it more once the diorama is done. That's where the full story will come together. And ladies and gentlemen, it's done. All the 3D parts I used are linked in the description. The muzzle brakes, the logs, they're free download. Just grab them and use them if you need it. Also, you'll find my other models on my Cult 3D page, and if you want to support what I do, check out my Patreon page. Even on the lowest tier, you'll get almost every model I make at a big discount. I want to say thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed this build. It sat unfinished on my shelf for over a year, and it feels good to finally wrap it up. In the next video with this vehicle we are going full diorama mode. Solders, mud, recovery things, the works. What about this video? Subscribe, give me thumbs up or thumbs down, drop a comment, especially if you are got advice or critics. I learned something new from you guys in every video. Okay, it's end up for this video. This was Vlad from the No Quality Dioramas. Take care of yourself and see you next time.